big outrage. Presidential heavyweight Rudy Giuliani versus Congressman Ron Paul. The duo's 9/11 contest got a little spicy at last night's GOP debate in South Carolina after Paul suggested that the U.S. actually had a hand in the terrorist attacks.
They attack us because we've been over there. We've been bombing Iraq for 10 years. We've been in the Middle East. I think Reagan was right. We don't understand the irrationality of Middle Eastern politics.
It's an extraordinary statement of someone who lived through the attack of September 11, that we invited the attack because we were attacking Iraq. I don't think I've ever heard that before, and I've heard some pretty absurd explanations for September 11. I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he didn't really mean that.
And that was Republican versus Republican. According to a recent Rasmussen report poll, 35% of Democrats think President Bush knew about the 9/11 attacks beforehand. The so-called 9/11 truth movement has already infected people like Rosie O'Donnell and 1 in 3 Democrats and many other Americans, evidently including Congressman Ron Paul. With me now, Fox News contributor and syndicated columnist Michelle Malkin. So, Michelle, this stuns me. It wouldn't have stunned me had it come up in the Democratic debate, but it's a jaw-dropper to see it in the Republican debate.
It is, and it doesn't belong there, and I'm glad that this moment provided great TV for Fox News. It was a very instructive exchange, but Ron Paul really has no business being on stage as a legitimate representative of Republicans, because the 9/11 truth virus is something that infects only a very small proportion of people that would identify themselves as conservative or Republican. And as you say, John, this is far more prevalent, this strain of 9/11 truther virus, on the left and in much of the mainstream of the Democrat Party, as that Rasmussen poll showed.
Why? Why did 35% of Democrats believe it, and I think it's another 26% haven't quite made up their mind about it?
Well, I think part of it is what Charles Krauthammer has famously called Bush derangement syndrome. I think that pathology has taken hold among many Democrats who would consider themselves mainstream. So anything that they could do to suspect or blame him for America's problems, and particularly the terrorist attacks, they're willing to believe. I think a lot of it is just plain ignorance. And then there's a paranoid strain on the left. I talked about this in my book Unhinged, of tinfoil hat wearers who indulge in this kind of fantasy where America bears the blame for global jihad.
Michelle, Rosie talks about this stuff all the time on The View. And The View has a large audience. Would this notion be as prevalent as it is if there weren't prominent people like Rosie, Charlie Sheen, and others constantly talking it up?
Well, they certainly do bear blame for mainstreaming it. Rosie O'Donnell and Alec Baldwin and Charlie Sheen, I believe. But it's there on the internet, and these people are absolutely rabid, and they are impervious to reason or logic. And it's great that we have magazines, publications like Popular Mechanics that are out there slogging every day. There are a lot of blogs as well that have been debunking a lot of these 9/11 conspiracy theories. This war is going on places like YouTube and in social networking places, but I think it's incumbent on mainstream news outlets to debunk these people, and I don't think you see nearly enough of that outside of Fox News.
Part of this 9/11 truth movement says that the United States attacked the Pentagon with missiles, that a plane did not hit it. I have never been able to understand how the 9/11 truthers then explain where is American Flight 77 and where are all those people. Have you ever heard them try to explain that?
I try not to spend too much time in these cesspools, but it is worth taking a visit to places like, these WTC7 sites and Students and Scholars for Truth. And I note that Ron Paul has basically allied himself with these people. He appears with Students for Truth on campus, and he's appeared on radio shows like 9/11 Conspiracy Nut Alex Jones. And I would hope that that would disqualify him the next time around from appearing on stage with other Republicans.
We shall see. Fox News contributor and syndicated columnist Michelle Malkin. Be sure to check out michellemalkin.com and hotair.com. Michelle, thanks a lot.